All right, good. Afternoon at this point for most people. Welcome to our UFC fight, Pittsburgh fight. Fuck, I can't talk. UFC Pittsburgh pre-fight show. You know what it is? It's that damn fucking event from last night that was so goddamn awful. I can't even talk anymore. Anyway, we'll talk about that in literally a second. UFC Pittsburgh pre-fight show presented by CrossBonesMMA. My name is Eddie Law. This is Jesse Rubalcaba, and I clearly can't even talk right now. I'm still really fucked up from that thing. Did you watch any of that shit?
I watched just for our boy Emmanuel Sanchez, who opened up the card, and then for some reason I ended up watching who was it right after that? Who was it? Newton? No, wasn't it Newton and Vassell?
Oh yeah, I think one of those, whatever.
Yeah, I saw that fight. That was terrible. And then I saw the Melvin Gillard get knocked back to World Series of Fighting, and that was about it. I was done. I tapped out after that. I couldn't take it anymore.
It was awful. But you did see. You were telling me you did see the GIF or whatever of the finish, or the ending to Kimbo versus Dada, right?
Oh my God, that was awful. You know what? You guys had me dying. Everybody on Twitter that was like live tweeting that fight, you guys had me dying of laughter. There's so many memorable tweets, and that's sad when Bellator's getting all the views just because of how stupid and how ridiculous it is. But hey, you guys, man, it was comedy gold last night. If you have a chance to go back on Twitter, go about the fight when the fight started. It was beautiful.
I couldn't believe it. It was so bad. Here's the thing: my two favorite tweets. And look, there's a million tweets about the fight, right? But my two favorite ones were from Joe Rogan and from Jimmy Smith, who is basically the Joe Rogan of Bellator. But so Joe Rogan goes, "This is the worst fight I've ever seen." He tweeted that out, right? And Jimmy Smith, who had just interviewed Kimbo after the fight, literally he goes, sits down at his booth, and he tweets out, "I'm trying, guys. I'm trying." Like, it was that bad. The guy that was interviewing and calling the fights fucking knew. He knew it was awful. So it was incredibly sad. Like, it really was awful to watch. Like, you were sitting there just watching MMA get knocked back like 20 years. Like, it was bad.
I love the tweets of like give John McCarthy some gloves to finish this fight.
Yeah.
He's gonna end this fight by double disqualification due to exhaustion or double TKO. Somebody said that one of the takedowns that happened, it was brought to you by gravity. It's just hilarity, man. It was hilarity.
The best. I mean, Luke Thomas. Look, here's the thing: because it was Gracie versus Shamrock and Kimbo versus Dada and all the hype and all the build up, which is all bullshit. Everybody in the media, all the quote unquote big names were there, except for your boy, who apparently doesn't go anywhere that isn't UFC, because then he won't get his sources and his interviews. Anyway, yeah, fuck him. Anyway, so Luke Thomas was there. Yeah, fuck off. Luke Thomas was there, okay, and he tweets out. He goes, "This is the best fight ever for everyone on Media Row." Like, everybody's laughing at how good and how awful this is, and it was so funny. And then I forgot who it was that tweeted out. Booker T. Booker T. You should know Booker T. He's a wrestling guy, a former pro wrestler. Said Booker T is over here laughing his ass off, and he's like choking from how hard he's laughing. And I was tweeting every single one. I'm like, please video that right now. Send it over. Tweet that shit out right now. Like, I want to see Booker T dying of laughter. How bad that was. It was so awful, man. And then that last right hand punch, it was like, you through the TV, I heard the whoosh, and then fucking Dada just goes, nah, boom, dies. And like, they fucking took him out on a stretcher. They were giving him oxygen. Last word I heard about him was Luke Thomas saying that he, or not Luke Thomas. Luke Thomas saying that or someone was saying, sorry, don't quote me on that. Somebody from the media, from Media Rows, tweeted out that they had confirmed that Dada was actually up and like awake in the back and receiving oxygen, so he didn't die, as far as we know.
Well, he was sent to the hospital for precautionary reasons. I forgot who tweeted that out, but somebody tweeted that out. But like I said, if you can go back on your Twitter timeline and just go through all those tweets, I mean, it's the best comedy you'll see on Twitter. It's just gold, man. Gold. What was it? A lot of people talking about how Mike Tyson was there.
Yeah, Mike
Just
Tyson made that the best. The best. He might have been the best part of the show. It really was.
no. The best part was Tito saying that he has no family.
Oh yeah, that was
That
weird.
was hilarious.
You could
I
tell they
wanted to
told him
show
last
everybody
second.
that.
No, yeah, you could tell they told him last second, hey man, come on here and talk to the guys about something. And then you know what pissed me off too, and I was when I was doing we were doing a fight companion last night, myself, Aaron, and Fred. And Aaron said that Aaron pointed it out. He's like, you know what annoys me is they gave like the winner like $5,000 for their charity. This is Viacom. This is Bellator. Viacom backed Bellator can only afford to give them $5,000 for their charity. Get the actual fuck out of here. You know what
I mean, money's tight, man. Money's tight. You know, especially when you're spending the big bucks on Dada and Kimbo.
Jeez, man, like. It was just seriously watching that made me feel just awful and embarrassed for the sport. It really was. Like I was just upset for the sport. I was ashamed to have watched it and actually sat through it. I was embarrassed for the sport getting knocked back 20 years, and it was just it was sad as fuck. Shout out to Andy watching from the UK. What up, man? What'd you say?
How bad do you think Big John felt in there?
Dude,
just having to stand there and watch these guys.
People that were watching it from the side said that after the fight, Big John was laughing. Like even the ref was fucking laughing. Like he was like, I can't fucking believe it. What I just went through this. You know, this is gonna be one of those fights that it's gonna be the most. It's gonna be top 10. And you can tell Big John's ref a lot of fights. It's for sure. It's gonna be top 10 most memorable fight for Big John McCarthy for sure. Because for sure, no other fight made him laugh harder than that. Okay, like you can say he's probably refed a few Nick Diaz fights and he's probably laughing about those, right? Because of the Nick Diaz talking shit and all that. But there's no way anything made him laugh harder than Kimbo versus Dada 5000. The street fights. By the way, everyone that actually has fought on the streets, it probably feels pretty good about their chances against Dada and Kimbo because that was fucking awful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I wonder if he's still offering that $1 million for a street fight. I'm game. I think I could take him.
I am so down. Double leg takedown. I'll tell you, look, I know I'm not as good as Kim Shamrock, probably easily on the ground, but I'm strong enough to not let Kimbo get out of a fucking rear naked choke for sure. Okay. Anyway, and then of course the main event, Royce Gracie against Ken Shamrock. That was a fight. Like it wasn't. I don't even call it. It was just weird. Fucking you know, Royce Gracie throwing leg kicks like half-assed. Like they weren't even doing anything. He was just leg kick. He was just throwing him to throw him, and he looked like he had to throw his head really hard to get the rest of his body to swing the leg. Like what are you doing? So anyway, I'm watching it, whatever, and then he knees Ken Shamrock in the nuts, and what to me looked really fucking intentional. And then Ken Shamrock drops, and then it was kind of like little grandpa hammer fist to his face until the ref stopped the fight. It was awful. Like that was just as bad. You know what? I'll take it back. It wasn't as bad as Kimbo versus Dada. It was right under it. It was right under it for the fact that those two had no business fighting. It was 101 years of human in that cage minus the ref. Okay, 101 years. And Ken Shamrock, I don't even know if Ken Shamrock ever even punch Royce. Like I don't know if he got a punch off. You know what I'm saying? Like he was fucking bad. And after the fight, Ken Shamrock was like, "You did it on purpose." Like. You can imagine those two guys living next to each other in houses in California somewhere. Like get off my lawn, asshole! You did it on purpose. Like psycho shit, dude. It was so weird. Mind you, 100% respect. I respect anyone that sits in the cage, okay? But if you're like Kimbo and Dada, you talk a big game. I'll show them, you got baby nuts and all this other shit. You know what I mean? And you talk a big game like that, and then that's the effort you put out. That's the fight you put on there. What the fuck? You know what I mean? I mean, yeah.
I mean, we kind of knew like how bad their cardio was going to be if, in fact, it got out of that first round, and we got exactly what we deserved by watching this fight. My favorite was I think John Morgan was on site. I think it was John Morgan or somebody was there on site, and they asked like, "What's the elevation?" And one of the other writers from MMA Junkie wrote 36 feet. Not joking.
It was. I think I tweeted out something like sea level Kane is embarrassed to watch this fight right now. Like he was bad. Oh, Adam saying on YouTube saying, did you see the video Derek Lewis posted? Kimbo was walking past him after the fight, and his cornermen are kind of yelling, "Get him some oxygen!" Yeah, I saw the video they posted. If you see on Derek Lewis, I don't know if it's Twitter or it was Instagram, probably both of this, but yeah, I definitely saw that shit, dude. Overall, it was exactly what we thought it was gonna be, a circus. It was a joke. Yep. Mind you, the entire card was just bad. You know what I mean? Like, even though Melvin Gillard got knocked out, and that was actually kind of cool because I didn't expect Derek Campos to knock him out. I thought he was gonna finish him, like on the ground or something. But I thought Melvin was gonna be able to throw a punch at some point. But it was just fucking wow. It was just bad. So let's hope for something better tonight in World Series of Fighting, and even better tomorrow in Pittsburgh with the UFC. By the way, speaking of that card, which we're gonna break down here in a second, the weigh-ins begin in approximately 28 minutes on YouTube. Do not buy Fox Sports 1 bullshit on Twitter where they go, tune into FS2 and, oh, yeah, the Fox Sports Go app. No, fuck you. Don't do that. Go to YouTube. YouTube's easier. It's quicker. All right? I don't give a shit. Look, I am anti everyone's bullshit. So if that's some bullshit, I'm anti that bullshit.
By the way, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Have you been following the whole BJ Penn thing? You see he's got a statement out and everything now? It's starting to roll. Yeah, it's starting to roll now. Crazy. I mean, however much we can say and however much we want to cover our ass here, but the accusations flung at him, pretty severe, and the way he's coming back at him, not good, man. Not good. Especially when the UFC has already confirmed that there's an investigation going on, there's an actual report, that all that stuff's happening, and now they're just like, yeah, we're gonna not be in the BJ Penn business for now. That's not good, man.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, the charges. If you guys haven't followed, I want to say on the 16th there was a former writer or whatever for BJPenn.com came out and immediately started tweeting out accusations that BJ Penn sexually assaulted his girlfriend, right? And then some photographer friend of his came out and corroborated the story, and then kind of took like 15 steps back. Like she was like, wait, I didn't say all that, So yeah. So now his girlfriend actually came out and pressed charges, which is where I didn't think it was going to get that far. I thought for sure it was some kind of extortion bullshit. But then hearing some things in the background here, and then the charges were actually filed in Ohio. Yeah, in Ohio. With the investigation started going down, and of course in Hawaii they're working over there too now. So it's starting to get really messy. BJ Penn releases a statement through his website, I think. Which is weird. UFC released a statement as well. At this point, what BJ Penn should do is shut the hell up, right, and just let the investigation go, and then the truth will come out. If he did it, he did it, and if he didn't, okay, we'll find that out too, right? But him just continuing to talk is bad.
Yeah, I mean, initially, what I told you initially with the whole story when it first started coming out is it sounded like a disgruntled employee that got fired after so many years, because he said that he's been working for him for like almost 20 years.
He said over 10 years easily. It was his next door neighbor, also the shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like, it just seems at first view, it kind of seemed like kind of one of those like angrily, like, I got to say something bad about this guy that I feel is screwing me over. But now with the whole, UFC getting involved and, all the stuff, the police and all that stuff, now it's getting kind of serious. So,
well, look, the charges are serious. Anybody doing that kind of thing to anybody is pretty damn serious, But now that the UFC actually took, because we've heard of things of fighters getting accused of shit, and the UFC doesn't even release a statement because it's found out pretty quickly it's bull, right? Yeah, this is how it's serious, and something might have actually happened when the UFC actually says, whoa, chill out. We need to step back and gather facts.
Yeah, we're not in the BJ Penn business right now. Like, well, that's not good.
That's pretty bad, in fact. And imagine if that's how that's the last that we hear from BJ Penn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
sucks.
Just looking back on some tweets about it, Jeremy Botter, who writes for Bleacher Report, I want to say, he tweeted out on the 18th saying, I have spoken at length with BJPenn.com tonight, with BJ Penn. He has provided a lot of evidence counteracting the claims against him. I hope so. I hope he put out some kind of good evidence. I'm looking at the article right now. Okay, he didn't write shit. All right, I'm gonna have to find that later. Anyway, but yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty fucking bad. So, look, usually these investigations move rather quickly when they involve someone like a BJ Penn. So we'll find out rather soon what did or didn't happen. I think.
Yeah.
And we'll find out real quick whether the UFC is ever going to be in the BJ Penn business ever again. But this is a really shitty way to go, don't you think?
Yeah, I imagine Nick is probably was crying for a whole day after he heard the news.
Nick? Yeah, maybe. But he's like, at least it wasn't Anderson. It wasn't Anderson. I'm happy. Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. Anderson will get knocked out in next week?
You know what? I'm actually looking forward to that fight. I'm legitimately looking forward to that fight. So
yeah, I mean, it'll be a fight for sure.
It'll be a fight. So we'll find out. We'll find out what happened. Oh, here we go. Official report filed by Sukup against Penn. Hilo police confirms investigations underway. Eyewitness supplement. Wow. Okay, I'm about to look at this and I guess we'll talk about it next time we do something. But it's kind of weird. This report right here is kind of weird. All right, let's actually talk about the fights. Sorry, fellas. We kind of got on a tangent there. All right, so UFC Pittsburgh goes down tomorrow. The weigh-ins are about 22 minutes away. UFC Fight Pass prelims. This is on Sunday, by the way. So after you get out of church or whatever you do on Sundays, kick back, grab some beers, some chicken wings, whatever you want to do, and enjoy some fights. UFC Fight Pass prelims. What's that? Chicken wings, dude. B-Dubs wings or carne asada if you want it.
There you go. Yeah, what's wrong with you?
I'm doing carne asada. I chop it up real nice, make some tacos out of it, and then I'll eat like a whole side of carne asada by myself. Fucking, it's so good. Anyway, all right. UFC Fight Pass prelims go down 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Pacific time with the heavyweights Anthony Freight Train Hamilton against Shamil Abdurakhimov, whatever, from Russia. He's a Russian dude. Great motherfucker. All right. So I'm pretty sure Hamilton's coming off a loss, right?
Yeah. He's
no. He's coming off a win.
In the UFC right now.
Yeah. He's coming off a win. He is 2-3 or 2. No, he's 2-2. He beat Daniel Omi. What the fuck is with you Russian last names? Omilenzuk or whatever at Krakow in April last year by decision. So he's got knocked out by Ted Duffy before that. Got a TKO win over Juan Potts, and then submitted by neck crank against Alexei Olenek in June 2014. So he's 2-2. He needs to start. He's 35. So I don't know how much momentum he's going to be able to build up by with a couple wins. He's not going to fight for a title ever, right?
So maybe. I mean, you never know. I mean, look at our heavyweight champion right now. He's what, 38?
Yeah, but let's give him 3 years. 3 years to fight. You think he gets a title shot? If he starts knocking everybody out from now on, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. But he's fighting a monster-sized Russian dude who's like used to shoveling snow and all this other shit, right? Shamil Abdurakhimov from Dagestan in Russia. He's 15-3 according to Sherdog. Coming off a loss against Timothy Johnson by TKO, so he can be knocked out. It's happened. He can be knocked out. That happened back in April of last year. So I mean, Anthony Hamilton has a haymaker's chance of knocking this dude out. But this Shamil guy, I don't know. I don't like Hamilton's chances here. But what do you think of this fight?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough fight, honestly. It's kind of weird for me that they picked this fight to start off the undercard here. Just because this fight has a chance to really be one of those fights where it goes the distance and be kind of boring because of the styles matchup. Shamil, he's a 5-time Sanshu champion over in Russia. He's got a great, well-rounded game from what you can see. And hey, what's up? We got our.
Oh, hey, how's it going, man? Go ahead and introduce our boy.
Oh, okay. So here we were talking about the fights right now, but we can divert that to kind of talk to our buddy here, Jose Chepe Machine Gun Mariscal, right?
Yes, sir.
I got that right. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll divert here to a little bit of an interview for our friend here, because coming up soon here, you're going to be fighting for championship at Ring of Combat, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so give your listening a little bit of background on yourself. I mean, you're pretty well decorated as a wrestler. You got some kickboxing, boxing, pretty much almost any combat sport you can think of. You've kind of been a part of or had a hand in. So kind of give us a little bit of background on yourself here.
Well, I started mixed martial arts at the age of 6, and I stayed in it since then. So I have 17 years of experience. I stayed busy. I did jiu-jitsu, judo, wrestling, kickboxing, Muay Thai, a little bit of karate, pancration, um, and all those like a big mix of things. Like it was like I did a lot of Greco, freestyle, folk style. I did a lot of different kind of tournaments. I just seen a style that was just a little bit different from the actual style I was doing, and then I just tried it out. So I stayed busy with every other sport. I've multiple championships. It's really hard to just name them all. It's more than like 10 championships I've have under my belt. I've been all over the world traveling. Was on part of the team for Team USA kickboxing and part of the MMA team for the United States as well.
Yeah, I mean, Rick, your manager, sent me over like a list of your stuff. Man, impressive in how young you are. 23 years old, and pretty much all the accolades you've accumulated since you started. I think the thing that popped out for me was the weirdest thing I saw on your whole list is you're on a rugby team.
Yeah, I was. I was on my senior year. I was on the wrestling team. So I went downstate. I ended up beating the ranked third in the state. My first match. My second match didn't go as well, and then when I lost that second match, I didn't have enough fire for my third match, and I lost. I got taken out of the state tournament, and then coming back from the state tournament, I had a friend who was a state qualifier as well, who was on the rugby team, and he was telling me, "Hey, Chepet, I know it didn't end as well, but we have a strong rugby team this year, and you play soccer, you're a wrestler, you're aggressive, might as well try it for the team." So I tried out, and uh, the coaches ended up, giving me a ball and was like, "All right, let's see, try to kick it." So I was like, "All right." So I kicked the rugby ball. I made it through the the field goal post, and I ended up being the kicker for the rugby team and a left wing for the team. So uh, we ended up being 22-0 and becoming a state champion my senior year.
Damn, athletic as hell. So again, coming up on your Ring of Combat fight coming up here, I saw a little bit in pieces of your last fight, and I noticed that like your wrestling is on point. I mean, of course, all the championships you got, the state and everything. So how do you see this fight coming up? Because I mean, we were talking about me and Eddie here. We're talking about how it kind of seems, if you look out there, that people are kind of overlooking you in this fight because they're giving a lot more accolades to your opponent because they're kind of say like, oh, he's the next best thing. He's got more championships, more experience. So like you don't have as a pro MMA fighter, you don't have that many fights as he does. But how do you see this matchup going? Because from what I see is your wrestling is going to be able to dictate the pace. But how do you actually see that fight going down?
Well, of course, everybody's gonna underestimate me. A lot of people really don't know me. Gregor Gillespie has more of a record out in there in the MMA world, and he has more videos, more talk. He's more out there than I am, and of course, he's more older than me. So, of course, his buddies are gonna have more connections to blow themselves up. I can't really say if I could stop his wrestling or I could out wrestle him, but it's just gonna be a fight. Whatever is gonna happen is gonna happen. I can't say I'm gonna outmatch him. He's gonna outmatch me. It's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a hell of a fight. It's two guys that are top prospects. I was underestimated in my last fight, and I ended up showing everybody and beating Max Bohannon in his own game. And then now I got matched up with a wrestler. So every fight's gonna be a tough fight. So I know whatever I got to do is to basically build myself as a fighter. So he's a wrestler, you know, he's gonna help me out in the future, win or lose, and it's only gonna build my experience. I see this fight is gonna go probably all the way. I don't see him finishing me. I don't see me finishing him. I think it's gonna be a good fight. He's got well conditioning. He's well rounded. Um, you see his videos of him wrestling, conditioning. He's doing all these triathlons and stuff like that. And I'm doing it as well, just not as much out there. Um, so it's gonna be a good conditioned fight, and we're both with great bases, so it's just gonna be a great scramble or a great 1-2.
Yeah, definitely. My other question, before I turn it over to Eddie over here is, I see that you've actually met Dana White. Were you part of that? What is it? Looking for a fight show, or what was that? Were you just like there when they happened to be there?
Yeah, I was there when they happened to be there, and they just put like that one dude who had the spinning back fist knockout and ended up, you know, putting that in air. I wasn't on there that I know of, so just to even meet him is more than just to be part of a show. You know, it's it's how could I say, basically a light to the end of my tunnel. You know, that's the person who I have to impress, the person to show who I am and be who I am and do what I do best. So, you know, to meet him and that's good enough, you know.
Yeah. Eddie, you got something?
Yeah, definitely. So it looks like from looking at your record, man, you like to finish fights a lot, and that's something, of course, as we all know, in the UFC, guys that get signed are the guys that like to finish fights. Even when guys win by decision, if it wasn't the most exciting fight, you always even see you almost hear Dana White groan in the background while the fight's going on. It's like that. So you like to finish fights and everything. Now, what I like to see, what I like that I see on your record, your accomplishments here, nighttime jiu-jitsu champion.
Mm-hmm.
That ground game is very important. Especially, you can use your wrestling, you can keep somebody down, but what can you do once you take somebody down? You can make that ground game exciting, man. You have a really good shot. So it looks like the UFC is your goal there. 23 years old, you got plenty of time to do it. But obviously you're focused on this next fight for the Ring of Combat title. You win this. Well, do you have a plan for this afterwards, or are you just taking it as it comes?
No, I'm trying to just make it to the big show. Since I was 9 years old, I've been chasing the dream, and I'm still chasing it. I have nothing else, to look forward to. If the UFC ended up disappearing, whatever's the next big show, I ended up going on there. Um, yeah, that's all I'm working towards. It's just that big show and show everybody who I am. There's different styles, different techniques, and I feel like I have something different than everybody else.
No, definitely. All right, real quick question: did you watch Bellator last night?
No, I did not.
Okay, good for you. You saved a hell of a lot of time and pain and any kind of shame that you might have had watching it because it was bad. So, but there was two legends on that we have to talk about real quick, especially a guy like Hoist Gracie. Again, nighttime jiu-jitsu champion. What did you train jiu-jitsu?
I trained at Combat Dill, and it's in Cicero, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
They have like a 18, like an 8-time jiu-jitsu coach, like degree black belt coach there. And basically, when I was there, we always did tournaments every other month. Like we stayed busy. We found so many tournaments. It's a lot different now. Now it's like there's less tournaments. There's a lot of people really don't go to them. I used to talk to the owner Kip from Naga. Because I wanted him to host more tournaments. I wanted to stay busy. I love the jiu-jitsu. It's like a huge chess game. It's either you give something, or they give you something. It's either you use that arm, that leg they give you to submission, or you got great defense where you could counter a submission. So it was just, it's like a honey badger versus a cobra, basically. All day scrambles. And so it made everything fun. And I traveled a lot for jiu-jitsu. At my gym, there wasn't guys my size or my pace. And I ended up rolling with guys who were like 10 times bigger than me. So I ended up going around my areas and rolling with the best like jiu-jitsu artists around there.
All right. Do you train with any heavyweights in jiu-jitsu? Have you ever seen any heavyweights, like big guys roll?
I roll around with Curtis Blades. He just won last night on RFA. He's huge. He's like 265, but he's a dude. Like I'm so used to rolling with bigger dudes, so it's fun. I'm a lot faster. I'm more technical than he is. He's just a huge wrestler. He doesn't have that much jiu-jitsu, but it's all getting there. And with him pushing me and me pushing him, it's two different weight classes. He sees my speed, I see his strength, and his obviously his technique. He's a national wrestling champion, state champion. So I always ask him questions, of course, like about wrestling and how can we do this to improve my wrestling in the MMA world, because it's different. There's MMA wrestling and then there's wrestling. There's a guy, you could take down a guy, but can you hold him down? But you get submitted. There's all these different kind of angles that I like to cut to submit dudes, especially wrestlers. So to work with him and then catch him too as well, it says a lot.
All right, because like we're talking about the UFC Pittsburgh card tomorrow night. The first fight of the night is heavyweights. Highly unlikely we see any kind of jiu-jitsu in it whatsoever. But you know a thing or two about throwing hands, man. Anthony Hamilton and Shamil. I swear these Russian guys, their last names I'll never be able to say it. Durakimov. With guys that big, when guys, I mean, look, heavyweights can knock anybody out anytime, and so. Like I think you're Golden Gloves. You fought for Golden Gloves, or you a champ for that?
Yeah, I'm a champ at Golden Gloves.
Okay. Have you ever been connected? Like you ever get hit so hard that you got actually knocked out, or have you ever been knocked out?
No, I've been hit hard enough where it makes you think twice about doing this as a career. Everybody goes through that. You get hit hard enough, you're like, damn, do I really want to do this for the rest of my life? And some people quit. Some people, after they meet me, end up quitting the sport and they see another, light to something else. Or there's dudes who just do jiu-jitsu, who don't want to do MMA anymore. There's heavyweights I've met where I blast.
And there he goes.
Damn.
Well,
I have one more question from you. Yeah, hopefully.
No. All right. Well, hopefully.
Well, I was gonna ask him especially because his whole goal is going to the UFC. How that, if the whole sponsorship is going to affect him in that decision, when he gets there. Because
that's a really good question.
You see how like Benson, and all those guys, they're looking for fame, but they're also wanting to, better their life. They don't want to make 5-5 being in the UFC, fighting on an undercard, and not getting any sponsorship money, and it's, those questions are kind of important for up and coming fighters, especially once they've already reached like a pinnacle of becoming a champion in a sport, especially like what we were talking about the guys right now. Anthony Hamilton, he was the first MFC heavyweight champion over there. Switching back over to this fight card, we were talking about it just a second ago. I just feel like this is going to be a really interesting fight between basically a wrestler and kind of a ground game specialist striker guy. And I'm going to give the upper hand to Anthony Hamilton just because he's got the power to knock him out. But I wouldn't be surprised if Shamil turns it into like just a ground battle where he just kind of takes him down and just smothers him on the ground and just kind of does work, from the bottom and just kind of makes it a very boring, uneventful fight.
All right, I'm gonna go with the scary Russian guy because he's a scary Russian. That's kind of all I got on that one. But for real, no, look, Anthony Hamilton, he could throw bombs, but he also gets hit a lot. That's a problem. And if this Russian cat shows up, and his last fight wasn't that he lost it by TKO, so if he eats a shot and gets hurt against Anthony Hamilton, who has heavy hands, it could be a pretty short night for Shamil. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Russian because he's a scary Russian guy. All right, moving on. Next fight, we have Lauren Murphy at 8-2 against very pretty damn late, right? Sarah Moras was supposed to fight her on this card. Moras injured or whatever reason they gave out. I'm pretty sure it was injury. Not in this fight anymore. Withdrew. Now we have Kelly Fastholes to jump in there basically last second. There's a couple things here in the background. Fights out of Santa Rosa, California at NorCal Fighting Alliance. Normally a featherweight, she's gonna attempt to make 135 in about 5 minutes. That's when the fight, the weigh-in start for UFC Pittsburgh. So open up a window right next to ours on YouTube and watch it on there while we're listening to us. And of course, I'll be giving out weigh-in results while we're going. So, anyways, Miss Fastholes is a 3-0 fighter. Again, a featherweight for the most part, for 3 different organizations: FTW, SCL, and CCFC. Has a couple fights amateur, so we don't know a lot about it other than she loves to fight on the ground. She's a jiu-jitsu girl. All 3 of her professional wins are by rear naked choke and guillotines. So she likes to choke people out. Meanwhile, Lauren Murphy, we know about her. She's had a couple heartbreaking losses. 1 or 2 you could say she shouldn't have lost, especially that split decision against Sarah McMahon, which was her first fight in the UFC. Before that, she had a pretty actually she was a champion in Invicta that she won. Mm-hmm. When I'm pretty sure Nakamoto, she fought Nakamoto, and I'm pretty sure Nakamoto busted her knee in the 4th round, and that's why she won that title. So that's not taking too much away from Lauren Murphy, who's a really, really tough girl. But anyway, she's an Alaska girl, but trains out of Peoria, Glendale, Arizona, over at the MMA lab. 8-2. She likes to knock girls out. So to me, this fight's basically, can Kelly Fastholes take her down and submit her? And keep in mind, Lauren Murphy, I think, is a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, so she can probably hold her own pretty good in an MMA fight. And but I think Lauren Murphy has to be the favorite. I'm going to pick her, but I think she has to be the big time favorite, especially against the last second fighter making their debut for the UFC. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I got to agree with you. I think Kelly here is fighting an uphill battle. Like you said, being basically a last minute replacement. Coming in here. And I think the only thing she's really got going for her, not the only thing, but like kind of the best thing she has going for her is that Lauren Murphy's on a 0-2 skid. And like you said, she just hasn't looked to be at her best peak performance. And we're back. Hey, you know what? We were talking about one important question that we had to ask you. And that to me was, you were saying that you actually wanted to, your goal was to go to the UFC, right? And so right now the big thing going on is having a free agency and trying to find out what you're really valuable, what you're worth, and Benson, he did that. And the big decision, the big thing that it came down to was the sponsorship money, because, he's a big name and he can go out and get a lot of sponsors. And in the UFC, you kind of are like cut off from all that. So do you think, like, let's say you get a call from the UFC and you get a call from, like, let's say a Bellator, like, how is that going to weigh into your decision? Is it that you actually want to be in the UFC just because of the UFC name, or is it because you actually want to fight, get a career and be able to, just better your life because you're able to get more sponsorship, more money and stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, growing up, there wasn't other shows. It was just UFC, So I grew up with just UFC, the mentality of going to the UFC. That's the big show. That's where all the monsters go. That's where I end up being, and that's where I'm going to work towards. So going to that, trying to stay in that mentality of the UFC, it's good enough, and that's why I kind of like prove that all the other fighters that are helping the sport grow, we get a better pay. If you're a UFC fighter, it'd be good. I would talk to my manager and see how would that go. Like, obviously, he would be having a cut, and wherever I would be, of course, I would be the best there. I'd try to be the best there. But that's like, I kind of see it as like, I think the UFC's got to just destroy these contracts with Reebok and then end up bringing back sponsorships, because we sacrifice a lot. You have to be mentally, spiritually, physically prepared to just fight one person. There's guys who do these preparations for months. We give up sleep, we give up hours, we give up family time, we give up a lot for these kind of things. And to grow as a sport, it would be great to be getting paid millions. We got boxers who are getting paid way more than $1 million. And they hardly even box in there. We haven't seen a great boxing fight, you know. And then when we do, you know, it's a couple millions, you know, and then, you know, they're set way more than a UFC fighter would be. And I feel like right now the sport is still growing, and as it still grows, that we will end up, you know, hopefully at that million range.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine you look at people like fighters like Conor McGregor, you know, cashing those big checks, you know, and you know, you kind of got to look at it that way where, you know, you got to kind of balance it between being a showman and also being, you know, all about just the money, you know, and just trying to get, you know, talking your way into like almost like a Chael Sonnen type guy where you talk your way into fights, into money fights. But yeah, I'm glad we were able to reconnect. What do you like to go by? Chepe, Jose?
Chepe.
Chepe, all right. Thank you for joining us, Chepe. I don't know if Eddie has any other questions, but I wanted to give you some time to, you know, throw out your shout outs and plug your social media, because I mean, that's the thing. If you know, you come on, you go on shows, you talk to people, you give interviews, you want to be you want to get your name out there as much as can, so people can, you know, go to your shows, you know, and experience what it's like, you know, to kind of find a fighter and kind of grow with them. You know, it's cool to like, you know, like John Jones and stuff like that once someone's established, but it's even better when you see somebody that's beginning, you know, his journey into the UFC or into like one of those organizations, and you see him from like, you know, when he started to when he is. So go ahead, plug what you can, and you know, your sponsors and whatnot.
My Facebook is Chepe Machine Gun Marisco. My Twitter's at Chepe Machine. My Instagram's Chepe Machine Gun Marisco. I mean Chepe Machine together. To give out shout out to the UFC gym Lombard here, Lombard, Illinois. Shout out to the team Dutch Style MMA, and shout out to Mata Leon Management.
Great. Again, thank you for your time. Do you have an opinion on the main event for tomorrow? I know it's like, you know, Cowboy versus Cowboy, but do you have like a pick there?
I think Cerrone might outstrike this guy. He's just a little more longer, and he it's either Cerrone uses that range and stays out far and clips him at the right time, or that other guy is gonna come in, end up taking him down, or ending up catching him from an inside tight hook.
Awesome.
Like,
well, again,
like the smaller guy has to get in, you know. He has to find a way
to
get in. Like, he can't outrange the taller guy unless he's really fast. You know, you got a Dominic Cruz, or, you know, you got TJ Dillashaw in there. You know, that's a whole different story. But you got two 155-pounders who are going at it. So it's gonna be it's either the guy is gonna work his way in, or Cerrone's gonna outstrike him from the range.
Yeah, definitely. Well, again, we appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you giving us some time here to, you know, just kind of get yourself out there and, you know, giving us a little bit of insight, you know, into your journey. So thank you. We appreciate you for coming on, and you know, after your fight, feel free to come on back on and celebrate your victory.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate it, and thank you. Have a good one.
All right, you think man later.
All right, thank you.
All right. Well, that Champion Mighty Sky. Again, if you look him up on YouTube, there's not a lot out there on him. But he does have. He's legit. He's a legit dude. So definitely a guy that, especially, you know, once he gets his like, he's really good on the ground, as we all saw, right? On the anything you find I found on YouTube was him on the ground, really, really good. And the winning jiu-jitsu tournaments, some people, you know, kind of take that for granted, especially the super high level guys. For a 23-year-old to have 9 under your belt, impressive, I think. So, get to striking in order. I don't see why he couldn't get on a prelim card at some point with the UFC. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. Look at the prelims we're talking about right now.
Exactly. Anyway, weigh-ins are about to begin right now. John Anik just stepped onto the stage. Fight Night Pittsburgh. Go to the UFC's YouTube page and just literally scroll down a little bit. It'll be under the live stream spot, and you can watch it without having to watch it on FS2 or whatever the hell they have it on, and on Fox Sports Go.
What? Like, so you're gonna tell them to miss out the insightful stuff that Ariel
No. Oh yeah, yes, absolutely, yeah. No, fucking ignore that motherfucker for sure, 100% all day. Never listen to that guy again. Jesus Christ. I thought you were gonna fuck with me for a second. Anyway, real quick, Andrew retweeted over saying that I didn't hear about this till Andy tweeted it to me. Apparently, Dada 5000's heart stopped last night, legit. What? And so, yeah, while you were interviewing Chipper right here, I looked it up. It's fucking real.
Yeah, I saw the things going on. You guys were going back and forth on Twitter there.
Yeah, and I fucking looked it up. Jeremy Botta tweeted it last night, or no, today. Is it today's 20? Yeah, today, about an hour ago. Multiple sources confirm that Dafir Harris, aka Dada 5000, in critical condition overnight. His heart stopped and he was placed on a ventilator, but apparently he's okay now. Turns out, losing 40 pounds loads your blood up with potassium, and that leads to severe dehydration, fatigue, renal failure, and so he was almost fucking dead.
Well, isn't that the fear that we all had, that we were going to witness somebody dying in that octagon?
Dude, I was joking around last night on Twitter going, I think this fucker's going to die. Like, I really thought, like, he looked really bad. That's a scary thing to think about right there. I mean, you look the way California's made changes, where they basically are kind of banning-ish weight cutting, you know what I mean? One championship, doing it organization-wide. Hell, Scott Coker said, I think yesterday, that the Bellator might not take title fights over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because of the weight cut thing. All right, looks like both our boys here from the prelims have made weight. Anthony Hamilton made, well, of course, they're heavyweights, so of course they're going to make weight. But they made weight, and so did Shamil. So, yeah, anyway. Oh, yeah, put Joe Sullivan between these two monsters. If they get kind of crazy, Joe Sullivan for sure is going to stop him. You know what I mean? Oh, they shook hands like, man, good job. Dude, Anthony Hamilton has maybe a centimeter or two in height on him. And he's got longer arms. Okay. Up next, Lauren Murphy against Kelly Fastholz to weigh in. And we're actually talking about that fight. So, Lauren Murphy, again, she kind of got, in my opinion, she got kind of screwed in a couple of last fights. Maybe not the one against Liz Carmouche. She put up a valiant effort in that one. I still think she should have won that, but, you know, a lot of people didn't agree with me on that. But what do you think about this fight right here, Lauren Murphy against the newcomer?
Yeah, we were talking about that before, and I think Lauren Murphy's got her back up against the wall basically here in the UFC, 0-2 in her last fights, and you know, she's got to really, it's almost like loser takes the winner spot. You know, it's like someone's spot in the UFC is going to get taken away here, and I think Lauren Murphy really has to fight her way to keep her spot here in the UFC. And I think that's what she's going to do. She's going to be able to outwork Kelly, especially since Kelly's first time in the UFC. I think that might be the biggest issue there. Yeah, I'm going to go with Lauren Murphy.
Yeah, me too. And Kelly made weight, which is impressive for someone coming in as last minute replacement. It's a pretty good accomplishment in my opinion. Lauren Murphy about to step on the scale. Yeah, she's on the scale now. So anyway, look, Lauren Murphy's got the experience. She's not a UFC newcomer, and yeah, she's probably gonna win this fight, and she makes weight as well. So at least that fight's still intact. Moving on, next fight before they step on the scale, Marion Reneau, the Belizean bruiser against Ashley Evans Smith, a fight that might make Dom Manos cry because he loves Ashley Evans Smith. So that kind of gives away my pick. I think Marion Reneau is gonna just pick her apart. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think what we saw in Ashley Evans Smith's last fight was that she's tough, and that's about it against the elite competition that's in the UFC, which is sad to say it's not many. But you know, she's still got battered and beat up really badly in that fight. Kind of sucks that she's been away from the sport for a bit because of the suspension she had to take because of basically, it was diuretics, right? Basically, yeah. She took the fight on 1 or 2 weeks notice or something like that.
Barely, yeah. She had no notice almost.
Yeah, so I mean, we understand what she was doing, why she was doing it. She was trying to make that weight, but yeah, in that fight, she didn't show her best as she could. Mm-hmm. And this fight is just not really what she needs to get going in the UFC. I think Reneau is just the tougher bruiser. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a slugfest, I think. And unfortunately, I just don't see how Ashley Evans Smith is going to be able to get past just the striking prowess that Reneau brings into this fight. So, yeah, sorry, Don. I know you're probably going to be cheering her on, but it's going to be a tough fight.
Yeah, Mike Jarve saying that talking about Ashley Evans Smith, she needs to finish. I agree. And she made weight, and so now Reneau steps on the scale. And she makes weight as well. They're using a digital scale. They're going quick.
Yeah, and the thing is with Smith, she's got great striking. We've seen her utilize her great striking. It's just that, who knows if just because of the small time frame that she had to prepare for her last fight, she didn't show her best. No. But again, she's going to have to be on point in this fight to really win this fight.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And Ashley needs a finish to make some kind of impression anyway. All right, next, episode 1 prelim, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time, kicked off by Jonathan the Spider Webb. Come on, son. I can appreciate the originality because no one else is the Spider other than Anderson Silva. But he spells it Spyder. Against Nathan, I shouldn't be fighting anymore, Coy. But got me here. Anyway, so Nathan Soul Force Coy. You can tell I don't like that guy. He's probably a decent dude. He's probably a good guy, but I just can't stand this shit. I don't know why. I watched some of the show. Nathan Coy sits on the scale. He makes weight, so good for him. Oh, he cut the hair. Good move, Nathan. Good move, son. All right, so Nathan Coy against Jonathan Webb. Nathan Coy prides himself as a wrestler, a leader, all sorts of stuff. That's what we were fed on the show anyway, if you watched any of it. And Jonathan Webb is a submission guy. So have fun taking that guy down. I'm not sure who to pick here, though. Who you got?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Coy really, he hasn't shown his best, and he's not really improving in the MMA department. It just seems like he has the holes, and everybody kind of points them out to him, and he's kind of like, meh, I do what I do, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep doing what I do. And I think Jonathan Webb is going to be able to take advantage of those holes and really put it on him. I think it's going to be a good start to the prelim card. I think this is going to be a quick finish, and I think Jonathan Webb is going to take it with a crappy nickname.
Yeah, I do too. By the way, both guys make weight, so the fight's on, so that's good. Remember, I think Nathan Coy missed weight on the show, if I remember correctly. But again, that's like you get no time to cut weight. You got to do it on the spot almost. Next up, Anthony Lionheart Smith against Leonardo Augusto Leleco, Brazilians. What do you expect? Leleco stepping on the scale first. Now, we don't know a whole lot about Leleco, really. Anthony Lionheart is pretty damn well-rounded, actually. He's almost 50-50 on the finishes as far as TKOs and submissions. He does have 11 losses. He's been fighting for a while. He's got plenty of experience to the 12 fights, the 11-1 record that Leonardo has. So I got him with the experience. I got him with the reach by it's like 4 inches or 5 inches, which look doesn't sound like much. It's decent. It's a pretty good reach. And then he's like a little taller, I believe. So it's he's on the scale now. He's pretty fucking tall. Oh no, the Leonardo guy's on the scale. My bad. Anyway, what the fuck, dude? Really? The Brazilian just did the fucking this machine gun shit. Don't let Chepe see that shit. I don't want to see Chepe doing that on YouTube anywhere. Fuck that. Anyway, sorry. So I'm picking Anthony Smith on this one. Just well-rounded, way more experience, double the experience almost than or triple almost than Leonardo here. But that jiu-jitsu is Leleco's game. But I'm picking Smith here. Who you got?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you that Anthony Smith has the experience, but I'm going to go with a bit of an upset here. I think Leleco is going to be able to really dictate the pace on the ground. Anthony Smith really likes to set up the ground game by really going in there and throwing the takedowns and moving around from the top and really doing some ground and pound and damage. And I think that's going to work against him in this fight. And I think Leleco is going to catch him somewhere. So I'm going with the upset here.
Okay. Fucking A. Real quick, I got to point something out. Leleco's Brazilian. He just was what up Holmes. He just what up Holmes fucking Smith. He had the fucking beanie right over his eyebrows and shit. And he kind of just home right in his face. It was really an intense stare down in his fucking neon green Reeboks. Really, bro? Come on. You can't look tough in neon green Reeboks.
You can if you're Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, because you're not even human. That's not even real. Okay. All right. Next up, Oluwale. Daniel Serafian against Oluwale Bangbos, the Holy War Angel, who just made weight right now. Here comes the Serafian. Look, we saw Bangbos against Uriah Hall last, right? It was his debut fight.
Yep, that was his debut fight.
Yeah, he got knocked the fuck out, real nasty. So he's got to come back and show something. He's a stand-up guy. He is not a ground guy. He'll never be. This doesn't seem like he's ever going to be a ground guy. Daniel Seraphia, meanwhile, pretty experienced. I know only 9-5 as a record, of course, but 7 submissions. This fight goes to the ground. Bamboos is fucked, and I think this is going to happen. I got Seraphia by submission. What do you got?
I think Bambosa is going to surprise people with his striking. I mean, if you look at his jungle fights that he had, hey, not racist because he's black, but because he was in the promotion called Jungle Fights.
Oh, they hugged. Sorry.
He was a champ over there. He's a great striker. He's dynamic. He's really exciting, and he's got power everywhere. He hits you with one of those shots, and your life is you're gonna have one of those coming to God moments after that. And I think that's what's going to happen with Serafian here. I think he's going to get lit up, and I think Bambosa is going to take it.
I just noticed 4 minutes ago, Andrew Reed tweeted over, Ashley would definitely get it. Yeah, she's a good-looking girl. Definitely. I'll give her that. At 135 pounds, she looks great. When she lets herself go. I'm just fucking around. Anyway.
We're going to get some angry tweets from Dom in a minute.
Dude, yeah, right. No, I think he likes thick girls. I do too. I'm down with Ashley Evan Smith when she's normal size. I'm cool with that. Fuck. Anyway, yeah. So Daniel or Seraphine and Bambosa made weight. Up next, Alex Garcia, the Dominican Nightmare, against Sean Tarzan Strickland. Strickland first to the scale. He makes weight, and up now is Alex Garcia. He looks white as hell on this. Oh, here we go. He took off the sweatshirt. Nice dark. Now he's brown again. Welcome back, brother. Anyway, the Dominican Nightmare, 13-2, 16-1 for Sean Strickland. We all know about Sean Strickland. Dude is an animal. I like watching him. I like watching Sean Strickland. The Tarzan nickname, you could do better, but we're working with what we got. Who you got in this fight?
I think I've been impressed with Strickland. I just think that he hasn't really been given a showcase fight yet, and I think this is the one, especially being that it's the main event on the FS prelims.
Yep.
Even though the whole card's on FS, but whatever. But he's the main event of the prelims, and I think that this is why they have him there. I think he's going to really put on a show, and I think this is going to be an exciting fight. Both of these guys like to really throw hands. Alex Garcia likes to really clinch up a little bit more and really do a little bit more of the fence, putting people up against the fence, kind of grinding them away. But I think Sean Strickland's going to be able to get away from that and really throw some bombs and really make it exciting. So Strickland here for me.
I'm picking Strickland as well. Height, reach, should be able to keep Garcia from taking him down, I think. So, yeah. All right, next up, James Cross against Shane Campbell. James Cross Campbell, or Crot. Fuck, I fucked the names up already. James Cross against Shane Shaolin Campbell. I'm not a fan of Cross at all. Campbell just made weight, by the way. Cross is stepping on the scale now. He has finished 20 of his 22 wins. So when Cross wins, he wins. He wins big. So, in fact, I think his last fight he won by knockout. It was like an improbable knockout too, if I remember correctly. So let me see, James Cross. Who you got in this fight, man? Because I don't want to pick James Cross, but I might. Who you got?
It's gonna be a tough fight. I'm picking Campbell, just because I think that he's got a little bit less mileage on his body. They're almost. It's hard to believe that they're opening up the main event, the main card, because I don't think this is going to be a very, very exciting fight. It's probably going to be a very technical, kind of really, really like if you like technical striking, technical wrestling, this is going to be the fight for you. You're just going to have a boatload of fun with this fight because they're both going to be really, really. They're both really technical strikers. Kraus only when he gets really beat up in there is when he starts going wild and starts doing really dumb stuff. But he's real technical on the striking, and he can catch people with his counter striking. And I think Campbell's going to be able to stay away from that, and I think he's going to be able to put up.
Yeah, and I'm going to pick Campbell because I don't like Kraus. I just can't. I don't enjoy watching him at all. But all good. If he wins, it's just just like you said, I'm not expecting a very exciting fight at all for the first one, especially for the first fight in the card. We always talk about the placement for these fights and this one just is weird to me. All right, next up is Chris Camozzi against Joe Riggs. Joe Riggs made weight, by the way. Joe, fire your tattoo artist and change that turquoise ass color on your tattoos today. All right, well, after the fight tomorrow. They're trying to get intense. Camozzi and Riggs both make weight. They're staring each other out right in the face. Dude, Joe Riggs gets right in Camozzi's face and then goes, all right, put it there. Starts shaking his hand and shit. Like, come on, man. Fucking, if you're gonna try and be tough, fucking be tough. Shit. I don't know. Maybe
you got in this fight, man.
In this one?
Yeah.
I got Joe Riggs by shit. How's that? I'm kidding. Camozzi should win this.
It's not gonna fall apart.
He might break before he even gets to the cage. But Camozzi decisioned Tom Watson, submitted by Souza. And before that, before that, a bunch of guys, a couple guys that aren't UFC caliber guys, and then 4 losses in a row in the UFC. Joe Riggs, in my experience, somehow pulls off some bullshit every fucking time. And he comes to the MMA lab, so I can't, he's got a lot behind him. So I'm picking Joe Riggs by shit. Who you got?
I think Chris Camozzi, this is a chance for him to really start making something out of himself. I mean, this is his second chance in the UFC, and he got destroyed by the same guy twice. He's got to do something. He said that he's been changing up his training. He's trying to really improve himself. So this is the opportunity for him to really put a veteran under his belt and really move forward. And like I said, Joe Riggs, he's just an odd guy. I mean, isn't he the one that shot himself not too long ago?
Shot himself in the hand. Ladies and gentlemen, laws in Arizona make it really easy to have a gun. All right, anyone can have one. It's pretty fucking simple. But it doesn't mean you're smart enough to clean your gun. Sometimes you're a fucking idiot and you clean it loaded and then boom, blow your fucking hand off almost. Go ahead. Or leg or whatever it was. Not
good, man. I mean, Joe Riggs just doesn't strike me as a guy that should be fighting anymore. When he went for that takedown against, Ben Saunders, broke his neck nearly. I just think he's got too many miles on himself, and I think Chris Camozzi is going to just outwork him and really put it on him. So.
Yeah, Andrew retweeting over. Nobody should be as white as Joe Riggs. I agree. Get that man a tan. Yeah. All right, Dennis Bermudez and Tatsuya Kawajiri make weight. We got the Menace against the Crusher. They made weight. They're friendly with each other. That's good because you should respect Kawajiri definitely for what he's done, and Bermudez because he's a bad motherfucker. So obviously the experience goes to Kawajiri, but at this point the guy's kind of there just for show. They're not. No one's really taking him very seriously. And Bermudez, even though he's ranked, keep in mind Kawajiri's number 12 at 145 pounds, right? But he's not going to fight for a title probably anytime soon. Dennis Bermudez is a legit prospect, 29 years old out of New York. Trains over at Long Island MMA with our boy Chippa's opponent, Gillespie, whatever. But he has 2 losses in a row, and one of them very unlikely. The Jeremy Stevens knockout, he was dominating that fight. He was dominating that fight and then ate a nasty knee. So what do we know about Bermudez? He can wrestle. He can submit. He can knock people. He can do everything. It's just whether he actually fucking does it and doesn't get caught by some crazy shit. That being said, I'm taking Bermudez by decision because Kawajiri his head isn't real. Like, I've seen him take some shots that no human being should ever take, and he survived. So I am going to take Bermudez by decision. Who you got?
Yeah, I got to ride with Bermudez. I saw him fight in LA one time against, I forget the guy's name that he fought against, the guy that had the car accident not long after that. But man, that was a crazy back and forth fight. Both of these guys just swinging for the fences. And I just think that Bermudez is younger, stronger, faster. And I think Kawajiri, even though he's a legend in the sport, not to disrespect him, but I think his time is up. I think it's time for him to kind of just mosey on off into the sunset and really either go to Risen and get those easy fights, or Bellator and get those like old man fights. But I just don't think that he's going to be able to handle pretty much anybody in the top 15 in the UFC anymore. So I think it's time for him to kind of, take this fight, lose probably, and just ride off into the sunset, retire.
He should. He won't, but he should. And Andrew Reed tweeting over, don't diss the Crusher. His boy, his boy Max is a big fan too. So, they're big Crusher fans. I am too. I like Kawajiri a lot, but come on, All right, Cody Cody, I banged Paige Van Zant Garbrandt against Augusto Mendes. Both men make weight, have a somewhat intense-ish stare down. Both men undefeated. Opposites though. Cody Garbrandt stands, punches, wants to knock you out. Augusto Mendes, more than happy to take your leg, arm, neck, whatever you give up. This is a fight where Cody Garbrandt does not want to go to the ground with this guy for sure. And I can see an upset in this one. And I think that's what's going to happen. I got Augusto Mendes by submission rather quickly. I want to say first roundish. Who you got?
Wow. You just hate that Cody got to Paige before you did. I'm sure that's where the animosity is coming from.
Time out. Nick likes her. Okay. My girl, as far as I know, has been untouched so far. As far from any fighter whose name I know. Okay. All right. Alexa Grasso is my girl. Okay. Paige Van Zant, Nick's girl. And Betch Correia. And who else have we got?
Cyborg.
Huh? And Cyborg.
Cyborg.
Yeah. Nick's a ladies' man. He loves the women's. I just love one. Grosso's for sure. Anyway, sorry. So Cody Garbrandt against Mendes. Who'd you pick?
Man, it's a tough fight for me. I'm actually a fan of Cody. Just recently, he's kind of been a little weird. Kind of saying that because TJ left, now it's his time to shine. Now he's going to be able to step up and take that title. You're thinking a little way too far ahead, Cody. You got to really shore up a lot of stuff before you start talking that game. But this is going to be an interesting fight, especially because it's a short notice fight for Mendes. I just think I agree with you. I think Mendes is going to be able to weather the storm and clinch up with him and take him down and submit him.
Yeah, I think Mendes takes him down. Yeah, I'm with you. I think submission, and I think it'll be pretty quick. I think Cody's going to have no clue what just happened to him. If he's able to keep him away from him and stop takedowns and all that, then of course you don't. If you stand up, if you're a jiu-jitsu guy, you stand up with a guy that's a stand-up guy, and you're not that good with stand-up, you're gonna get knocked the fuck out or picked apart anyway. So Augusto Mendes, his game plan's taking him down and submitting. That's what it is. All right, next fight, and just Derek Brunson against Juan Carnero. They both make weight. And they throw down. By the way, Derek Brunson had a funny little video last night on the Kimbo Dada 5000 fight, and there was an entire room, including I think Sam Alvey was behind him, but Cowboy and all these guys laughing their asses off at the fight. It was that comical. So Derek Brunson against Juan Carnero. Carnero, a jiu-jitsu guy. He's a ground guy. Derek Brunson knocks dudes out, but Carnero has not been the same guy for a few years now. He's been kind of weird. I'm pretty sure he lost his last couple fights. I mean, I'm pulling up his record right now. No, sorry. He's won, but he hasn't fought since February last year. That's right. Now I remember now. He's his record's weird. He fought everywhere, after he got cut by the UFC in 2008, or he left the UFC in 2008. Fought everywhere else, has a whole long fight win, a win streak, and then beats Mark Munoz via rear naked choke in February at UFC 184. And that was Mark Munoz? Yeah, he beat Mark Munoz. And you said what?
I said, who doesn't?
Yeah, sadly. I'm a Mark Munoz fan, dude. He's a good guy.
I love Mark Munoz, but I just think that he never put it all together in the octagon. I mean, there was fights where he definitely could have won, and just was not able to put it all together to win.
No, definitely. By the way, real quick.
Sorry, Mark Munoz, please don't kill me.
No, Mark Munoz is that nice. He'd probably be like, "You're probably right," and then laugh with you, and then just walk away or something. But
maybe,
maybe. Oliveira on the scale makes weight. He's good to go. Donald Cerrone walking the scale right now. He's gonna get fined for the Reebok shit again. He already said it. He's gonna do that short shit again. So fuck it. And he makes weight rather easily. Dude, I like this. They got to be using the digital scale in this one. It makes things go quick. Usually we're like waiting for that little scale guy.
Yeah.
So, the cowboy hats are out. Oh, handshake, a bro hug. They're similar height.
Yeah, it should be an interesting fight. But back to the Derek Brunson and Ron Carnero. I think you were picking Brunson in that fight? Or who were you picking?
Brunson by knockout. Because
I agree with you.
Done.
Yeah, I agree with you. We were talking about that before. I think Carnero just has pretty much nothing left in the tank. He's got nothing left to prove, man. Honestly, I don't know why he's even in these fights anymore. It's just one of those things where he should just kind of, as Kawajiri, probably take some easy fights or just not fight anymore, because he's just not performing at the way he used to be. And it just so happens that after the USADA thing, it's kind of looked different. So I don't know what to take from that, but a lot of fighters have looked different from since USADA started taking over the testing. So I think those old those old Pride and what was it the Showtime fight promotion that it was before Strike Force.
Oh, Strike Force. Sorry. I don't know why I thought Affliction.
Yeah, I know. Affliction as well. But, all those old promotions, where it was kind of the wild, wild west, those guys are just looking completely different nowadays with advanced drug testing. So I think most of those guys should just kind of tip their hat and, walk off, because it's just not fun to watch them get hurt.
Yeah, and there's a lot of guys like that, man. A lot of guys are different. Fucking Vanderlei Silva. You know what I mean? Like, he looked different to me from Pride to UFC, even though he won some fights in UFC because he's crazy. But, and that's what the fact that UFC's been, just recently actually been tough on drugs. They haven't always been that way. A lot of guys got away with a lot of shit. And then these days, everyone's getting used to, they're finding new things, new ways to cheat.
I think on your last show that I listened to of Breaking the Law, I think I was going back and forth with, I think it was Mike Jarvis or somebody else. And we were talking especially about Anderson Silva, how he has publicly said that he'd never been tested before. And the one he failed was the only one that he's ever had, which sucks because, if you're a fan of Anderson Silva, his style, his technique, and, everything he did in the UFC, it kind of puts it all in question. For the hardcore fans like Nick, it doesn't. But, for me, that's a realist. You got to look at the evidence of, him admitting that he's never been tested. And then the one test he takes, he fails. That's not good. Yeah,
that's pretty bad. And it's for some reason, everyone's kind of like skipped over that. They're like, let's just not talk about that. You know what I mean? Really weird. Like, no one's talking about it anymore. Oh, Bisping's trying. Bisping's laying into that shit like no other. He should. How many guys has he fought that tested positive for shit? Like a good handful. Him and Tim Kennedy both fought a bunch of guys that tested positive for shit. It's insane. It really is crazy. I mean, like they could make an argument, in my opinion, that they should get, that they could possibly deserve some of those wins back or some of those losses to at least get struck out, but it's not gonna happen.
What do you think? Both of those guys would be undefeated almost?
No, they have way better records, to tell you that much. Anyway, sorry.
Cowboy versus Cowboy. Who you got?
I was gonna say, back to this card. Now Chippa was talking about the smaller guy. From what I saw, Cowboy, and they're only about 3, and then height wise, they're about 3 inches difference. Not a lot. There is about a 3-inch reach advantage for Oliveira and a 3-inch height advantage for Oliveira. I like Oliveira's overall game. He's a spinning shit. He throws everything you could possibly throw standing. He's got it. Cowboy starts really slow, and that bothers me because Oliveira for sure has watched a bunch of tape on Cowboy starting really slow, really tentative, waiting. Where Cowboy takes his time to get comfortable, right? And he only gets comfortable after he's tagged you a couple times. Once he goes, oh, okay, he ate this, he ate that. Okay, I'm gonna start going throwing like crazy. Well, Oliveira's not that way. Oliveira goes in and take your head off from the get-go. I'm rooting for Cowboy Cerrone. I want this 170 thing to work out. I don't think he's ever going to fight for a title here. And if he does, I really don't think he'll win it. But I think Oliveira's going to win it. I think Oliveira, it should be a really good fight. Neither one of these guys is going to make it a boring wrestling match, I don't think. But maybe Oliveira might try. But I think Oliveira's going to, there's going to be a TKO win for somebody. Or a really entertaining decision fight. What do you got?
I gotta agree with you. I don't think this fight's gonna be boring at all. DVR this fight, save it, and watch it in all its glory every single time, and just ignore Bellator. Don't watch that. Just watch this fight instead. Don't go back on your DVR and watch Bellator. Watch this. Anyway, I think the winner of this fight should definitely fight against Wonderboy Thompson. I don't care if Wonderboy is getting the title shot. It doesn't matter. This fight would be awesome between either one of these guys because of the styles. But I think Cowboy has bitten off a little bit more than he can chew in this fight. I think the size difference is going to be a big factor for him. Even though Alex Oliveira is also 155er, it seems like a bigger, stockier guy, and I think he's going to be able to dictate the fight, and I think he's going to be able to take Cowboy's punches and kicks and all that, eat them, and lay into Cowboy with his harder shots, and I think he's going to be able to take him out.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, look, a lot of people are picking Cerrone in this one, but and Mike making a really good point, saying on YouTube, saying the blitz is Cerrone's kryptonite. So it just is. Yeah. It is, and it sucks. It sucks because I don't know anyone that wasn't rooting for Cerrone to win against RDA other than you, but that wasn't rooting for Cerrone. What? I said other than you. I know you. You knew. Shut up. I know you voted. You were rooting for RDA because you're a Kings MMA all the way guy, but I was rooting for Cowboy because I want to see him get that belt, for his grandma. But now, sucked to see how it went down. But anyway,
well, Cowboy can go buy her one online. One of those $200 belts, and give her that.
You're a dick. We went there. All right. Gonna do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Again, the weigh-ins have gone through. Everybody made weight. Everyone looked good. Ashley Emma Smith did look pretty good. Good for her. Good for you, Don. Do your thing, man. Hit her up. Anyway, World Series Fighting 28 goes down tonight in about 4 hours and 20 minutes. So count that down from wherever you live. Headline by Moraes against whoever, honestly.
It don't matter. Whoever's in that octagon with him is gonna get mauled.
They're gonna get destroyed. Moraes is a bad motherfucker. All right.
Yeah.
So that's on the night.
One more fight, and we get to see him in the UFC, hopefully.
You Barajas. There we go, Barajas. You hope, man, but I don't. I wouldn't be surprised if Bellator snags him. You know what I mean? All that Reebok shit, and Bellator opened up their wall for fighters, and clearly not for anything else.
No, he's made it clear that he wants to be the best in his division, and he wants to prove himself. So if you want to be the best, you're not going to be like somebody else, Michael Chandler.
Exactly.
And you're going to go to the UFC and prove yourself.
Yeah, and Andrew Reed picking Oliveira as well. And you know what?
Never mind. Let me change my pick then.
Cowboy. You said get it, Cowboy. I'm picking Cowboy, whichever one. But I hope he makes it over there because I would love seeing him fight some of these guys in the UFC, but who knows? And so I'm with Jesse. Skip Bellator. If you DVR'd it, delete it. Don't ever watch it ever. It was awful. Go to Reddit and find it, or Twitter and find the GIFs. That's literally all you need. It's the GIFs, and I'll show you what it was. It was awful. It was shitty. And again, Donna 5000, his heart did fucking stop last night. That's some scary shit. He almost died for that awful fight. So, damn. And you know what? I thought he was gonna die in the cage. Like when he dropped, I was like, oh, he's fucking dead. That's it. He died. And then they took him out in the stretcher, and everyone was like, oh fuck. When he took him out in the stretcher, you're like, oh shit, did he actually? Oh shit. And like he was like, you can see his chest, rising and falling. So you're like, okay, he's good. But now Jeremy Botter is saying that his heart actually stopped. They put him on a ventilator and shit. Ooh. So he's gonna be okay. He did lose 40 pounds for this fight. The limit being 265. So he was almost 3 bills coming into this shit. Gonna gain that weight back real fast, by the way, and probably more from depression. But message to Dada 5000, stay off Twitter, my friend. Don't even look at social media for like the next year and a half at least.
For the rest of his life.
Delete your shit, okay? Because the mentions he got put in, man. There's no way, dude. No, look. People are gonna be like, people in the streets and his family are gonna be like, oh, he's a warrior, kept walking forward against a veteran. But man, in the streets of Miami, they're gonna be like, dude, what happened? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think Gigi had the best take to that. He said nobody in the whatever area code is ever gonna want them to represent them or whatever.
The 305, yeah. That's pretty bad, dude. Yeah, then again, it's not like it's not like his buddies are big MMA fans. Probably they're probably just Street Fighter guys, but you never know. Anyway, all right. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. Mike Jarves, everybody, Adam Slay, Andrew Reed tuned in. Big shout out to Chepe Mariscal. Right, yeah. Chepe Mariscal.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck at your title fight at Ring of Combat. Look that up wherever you're at. See if you can make it over there or maybe find it on a stream. Or I don't know if they televise it, do they?
I'm not even sure. Well, I'll figure it out.
Okay, just Google it. You'll find it. Against the guy that's getting a whole lot of hype out of Long Island MMA, same place that Dennis Bermudez trains at. And it's a title fight. So title fights are big. 23 years old, plenty of time to improve. And if you can imagine, even makes, once he hits 26, 27 years old, how good he might be. You might find him in the UFC. You never know. So we might be able to say, hey, we had a UFC guy on the show before he was in the UFC. That's pretty legit.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, you can follow Jesse over at Spawat1983. Follow me at Elal31. The page at CrossBonesMMA. And again, enjoy World Series of Fighting tonight and UFC Pittsburgh tomorrow. But from literally right now until tonight's fight, as we watch them, go outside, go do something outside, get away from your computer and your phone and all that shit. All right. And if you have kids, take them outside and have some fun. All right. You guys have a good weekend. Catch you guys later.
Peace.